What's up, everybody? We are live once again. Welcome back to another episode of the Cookout.
Yo.
Imani, what's going on? How you doing this week?
I'm killing.
How's life treating you?
Life is treating me good. Family is good. Everybody's breathing. We out here.
That's what we like to hear.
Found out Chewy. Oh, my bad.
Go ahead. No. Finish your story.
Chewy got cataracts. So that's I said got cataracts like he picked it up somewhere. He has cataracts, and apparently he's 15. He's 12 right now. So I have like 3 years to figure out if I feel like spending that money or if I want to have a blind dog.
Wait.
What?
So you have 3 years. How long does it take? So it takes 3 years for the blindness to be in full effect, you're saying?
Yeah. So, like, am I going to have a blind dog or am I going to pay for this expensive surgery that's so expensive? The doctor was like, you don't even, like, there was no conversation about it. And, like, there is one. So, I don't, like, I'm scared to Google how much it's going to cost. I know it's a thing, but I don't know anything about it. So, but I do see a lot of blind dogs on the internet and they live in their best little blind lives. So, we'll see.
You should, in the meantime, train Chewy if he's not too old to have his sense of smell trained so he can just like snip his way around.
So I do notice some issues with his sight now, but he's comfortable at home enough that he knows where everything is. I just got new bedroom furniture, and so that's new to him, and he's struggling in my room, especially if the lights are off. Like he jumped off the bed and ran right into the dresser, like head first, bow. Which I was like, okay, so you're not allowed to jump off my bed anymore. Like you're getting picked up and put down, and I have to get him a little stepping stool. So I'm sure he's cool in the house. I'm more nervous about him outside. Like when I take him out, he's not on a leash. He doesn't go anywhere except for like if he sees another dog. So we're just rolling. And now I have to be mindful of like, what if he goes somewhere he doesn't recognize? So yeah. Other than that, we chilling.
Good. Oh, wait, what's the shirt? Pancakes. Dig.
Blouses.
That's hilarious. It's great. Lou, what's going on, my man?
Not much, nothing much. You know, fall is officially here, so my days of being outside and chilling in the warmth are over, so I'm mourning the loss of summer. Other than that, just cooling, working on stuff, one step at a time.
I had a few cool days this week, but it kind of went back up to the mid 70s later in the weekend today. So we're getting glimpses of it. And you know, we're on the eve of Jiho weekend, would have been.
Are we taking shots at midnight?
Are we?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind
but
it.
See, his midnight is not our midnight.
It's homecoming, so it's
gonna take the
midnight.
So you got to take the East Coast midnight shot, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah,
you could do a shot at 9, and you could do another shot at midnight your time if you feel like.
Yeah, you got to get on with the West Coast Aggies and take the shot
up
on the West Coast with them.
Man, this is about to be the greatest G-Ho that never happened.
It's got to. Yeah, we're gonna have a special episode next week for the G-Ho episode. We gotta do something. Episode. You know, I gotta be in my Aggie gear for next weekend.
Wait, well, hold up now. I thought we were doing costumes.
I can dress up as an Aggie. What you mean?
That's not a costume. That's every day.
It's not though. Not when I put the gear on, of course. You know, Aggie born, Aggie bred, but the fit though. You know what I'm saying? I hardly ever put the A&T gear on in the first place. Even at homecoming, like I don't wear it like during Jiho. I would never put on like because it's like I'm it's my tribe.
She giving you all the Kamala debate faces right now.
She is
all of them all at once.
She is, bro. But like, come on, man. It's Jiho.
It definitely is Jiho.
It's Jiho. I'm hurt.
I think we are.
Oh man. Anything, Lou? Anything else? Is there anything you can talk about as far as what you're working on, or you gotta
This man is the
You
king
gotta
of pressure.
the public can't know yet. Y'all know
Okay,
when the
see,
time is good.
you know what I'm saying? Like, my man is busy. He does a lot of great things, and I know about some of the great things he's doing. But you know, when the time comes and he can reveal some of these great things, like I always gotta ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna reveal. Leave
Yeah,
that to
when the
him.
time comes where I can talk about it publicly,
Exactly.
the
You
Cookout
know,
crowd will know.
I'm looking forward to that day because it's very exciting what you got going on. And very proud of you, sir.
Preach.
Keep up the work. But anyway, without further ado, are you guys ready to get into this conversation, these topics we got lined up for this evening?
Let's do it.
All right, so first things first, Jared Leto is back as the Joker in the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. Now, if I am not mistaken, I believe he cameo in, or was he cut out? I think that was cut out.
He wasn't
in the final theatrical cut. Yeah,
Yeah, he wasn't.
It was rumored that he had a part, like he was going to cameo, because I think the Suicide Squad came out the year after, or like was it the same summer maybe that Justice League came out?
I don't know. It's all a blur.
Those are all a mess. The whole thing.
Or it may have been the year before Suicide Squad, and then Justice League came out, and I don't know, they were around they came out around the same time. And I remember hearing a rumor that he was going to be in the film, and then he ended up not being in the film. And then there was some controversy around people liking or disliking the character and Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker in the Suicide Squad film. And I, at the time, believed that was part of the reason why he was removed from the movie, from the final cut. I also heard about some other things, some antics he was pulling behind the scenes while shooting Suicide Squad that weren't favorable to the cast and crew. He apparently got into method acting and took his role a little too far, times crossing lines. But
say that about everybody who plays the Joker.
Yeah, for the most part, pretty much been a trend with the Jokers. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this news? Are you excited to see Jared Leto return, or are you kind of lukewarm, or is it a negative Ghost Rider?
I mean, if it's cool, it's cool. So this is in a very unique spot of stuff that I have not a lot of hair for. Suicide Squad, even though I haven't watched Suicide Squad, has like a special place in my heart because up till Suicide Squad, I was seeing every superhero comic book based film because I was like, I gotta go see them and support them, so they keep making them. Suicide Squad was the first movie I was like, you know what? I think super films are fine without me, and they're gonna keep making them anyway. So I can sit this one out and be cool. Then when the reviews came back negative, I was like, I don't have any desire to watch it. I'm still cool. And then the Snyder Cut is like, I mean, I got HBO Max, so if I got a long weekend and I can't figure out what to watch, I watch it. If not, I'm sitting here like, it's a lot of footage that man filmed.
Did you watch Justice League?
I watched it while I was doing something else, so it was a blur. I wasn't grabbed by it.
That's the way you should watch it, to be honest.
You did. So you didn't. Did anybody see Justice League in theaters?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't.
After Batman versus Superman, I was so turned off. I didn't see the rest of them. Like I didn't see Aquaman in theaters. I think the last decent DC thing I saw in theaters was maybe Man of Steel.
I saw Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no, I didn't see Wonder Woman in theaters. I did see Wonder Woman, and I think Wonder Woman is my favorite of the DC films. So I don't even think it is. It is like, it's not, no question. And then Man of Steel would probably be behind that.
Yeah, I don't think I think I wanted to see Wonder Woman in theaters. Well, I remember I didn't see it in theaters, and then when I saw it, I was like, man, this was great. I wish I saw it in theaters. But then I saw Batman versus Superman, and I was like, what? Like I was not happy with that at all. Oh, my dad. My Batman hatred comes from my dad. He was not happy at all. Like whenever I get to talk about it, he's like, don't get me started. That's when the conversation ends right there.
Oh, man.
So But as for Jared Leto, I liked his Joker. I think that it's probably more accurate to what a current generation Joker would be. I think I like the idea that he's obsessed with fame and social media and materialistic things, and but in a like evil, sinister kind of way. I appreciate that, and I didn't have an issue with the character. And I also think that because of how well Heath Ledger played his Joker, this is the most appropriate way to do it, because I don't think you could do that type of Joker, or at least I don't think Jared Leto is the right actor for it. Like Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker film did that. Like by the end of the film, I want to see that Joker. I think that Joker is more comparable to Heath Ledger's Joker, but of course we didn't really get to see that final.
I thought
Joker.
that was just like Joaquin Phoenix goes crazy, which is what I was entirely cool with. But like I felt like it was a Joaquin Phoenix movie.
I thought,
he put on clown makeup.
I mean,
I would say the same. I feel like he owned that role.
Yeah, like I don't think they're too far off.
But same with Heath Ledger in his version of the Joker. I think it's just Heath Ledger going off the deep end, like, you know, like, and I think that's how you should portray the Joker. Like, it's take your personality and go off the deep end, and then Joker nailed.
I mean, I guess that would be an argument for Jared Leto's Joker being good.
And I would, yeah. I mean, possibly. I can't say I've seen anything Jared Leto has been in. Is he an actor though, or
what's the name of that movie? Is
he in a band, or was he in a band?
I just saw Jared Leto's weird public red carpet appearances, and it seemed to add up to me.
He's always playing something like sentient. What's that movie that I could never remember the name of, where it's like the future, and I don't think it's Jake Gyllenhaal. I think it's the other actor that looked like him.
Now, Jake Gyllenhaal is like, I think, what Jared Leto wants to be.
I know I wanted to see him in Morbius, but you know, then 2020 happened.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Like, he is going to be in Morbius. He is Morbius. Yeah, I think that's a good role for him. I mean, he looks like a vampire, like out, you know, just his facial structure and all that is like characteristic of actors who play vampires and how people portray vampires. So I think casting wise, he's great, and I think his personality would fit.
The movie I couldn't get the name of was Blade Runner, the most recent one. He was in that movie. He was the
2049 Blade Runner.
That one. He was in there playing the dude that could see stuff.
Yeah. See, the BV, going back to BVS and Justice League, the marketing for those films never got me hyped for it, and then like the fallout of BVS definitely didn't get me hyped for Justice League, and then none of the trailers or marketing for Justice League made me interested in going to see Justice League. Like, it just couldn't, like, it wasn't like any of the Marvel stuff where like the trailers and just the marketing in general made me want to go see those films. Like, and then of course the success of all of the other Marvel films make it easy to go watch these films, because, you know, almost every single one of the Marvel films I've enjoyed in some capacity. Batman vs Superman was like a train wreck of, I don't even know. It's like whatever happened in the writer's room or wherever that movie went wrong, like DC has to figure out how to correct that going forward with their movies, because that movie was all over the place for me.
Unrelated, just because you said writer's room, Marvel is looking for Black writers for Blade. I
saw that today. Yeah, I saw that today.
Probably what DC needs to do: hire some new people with new stories instead of.
I never knew why they gave Zack Snyder the keys to the kingdom, but when they did it, I was like, okay. And I think Zack Snyder's an aesthetic director, and Zack Snyder's aesthetic does not universally apply to the DCU.
Yeah, I would like.
Do
Hmm?
what
What's
else
that?
has he done? Let me do my Google.
300, Sucker Punch, and like one or two other movies that look just as dark and gloomy. And those movies don't particularly have. Oh, he did what you call them, the Watchmen movie. That's where he
Yeah,
got
Watchmen.
started. And none of those movies I think are particularly well done, but they do create a visual space that is interesting. And so
Yeah,
I
I
think
think.
the
He
same
made
way Michael Bay rides. What'd you say?
he did Dawn of the Dead. That's
There you go.
up there on my top zombie films. Oh,
Yeah, I think the story of Dawn of the Dead. I'll exclude Dawn of the Dead and just talk about the like 300, Sucker Punch, and Watchmen. I think of those three films, 300 story wise was the best executed. On top of the visuals, like the story at least was entertaining enough to follow. On top of the visuals, the visuals certainly help keep it entertaining. And is because he has a very like it's definitely a very artistic style in his directing, especially action. Um, but I feel like Zack Snyder, if he were a creative director for DC and was just in charge of the sets and like the action pieces and all of that, and then let somebody else write and direct the stories, like I'm not sure why they brought J.J. Abrams in and signed this large contract, because I feel like he would be the person that they probably want to produce a lot of this stuff, because I think his producer credit is better than his directorial credit. I feel like they have the pieces at DC for a compelling DC universe to work, but they have all of these people in the wrong position. Like they need to,
Yeah.
they should find. I don't know who's in the writers' room, but I mean, as far as directors go, Patty Jenkins is the best director that they have, like by far. And I think that, I know if they can find other directors that are as passionate about these characters, maybe Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves has potential to be, because from what I've seen from the Batman trailer thus far, very compelling. He could potentially be helpful for them moving forward as a director.
I mean, Matt Reeves did direct two of like my favorite sci-fis of all time, in Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Like he's what we didn't talk about.
And
We
he
haven't
did
had a sci-fi
Cloverfield.
episode, have we?
But Matt Reeves is like
he's up there.
I've watched Matt Reeves movies several times. I've watched Cloverfield several times, and I've watched the entire Apes trilogy.
Yeah,
both times.
Because what he did with he did what?
28 weeks later.
Yeah, like he's a great director. Like him and Patty Jenkins to me are like the best directors that they have working on projects. And Patty Jenkins, of course, has shown like that she knows how to handle Wonder Woman. They just need to find. I feel like Christopher Nolan, his portrayal of Superman, probably until like I guess the fight with what's his name, the last act with that final fight, as the movie kind of it lost me. I don't like how that fight sequence went, but the backstory for Superman was the best version of his backstory that I've seen on screen.
I don't know, man. Felt a bit too dark and a bit nonsensical. Or just in regards to the father thing, like, hey, yo, don't save. You shouldn't have saved that bus full of children. But I'm about to run in this tornado for this dog.
Yeah, the sacrifice. Yeah.
I'm like, yo, where are we valuing lives?
Yeah, but see, I kind of felt I felt a connection to the Superman character in that version of Superman more than I have before. Because usually Superman is like I don't relate to that dude at all, and like he made Superman more relatable for me.
Have y'all seen Brightburn?
No, I meant to watch that. That's what I wanted to watch. I saw it pop up
What is
yesterday.
Brightburn again? I feel like
Brightburn is the horror Superman origin story.
It's basically like evil Superman.
So like if Superman
no.
he was evil, but it's only him like as a kid when he starts to recognize his power. He never becomes an adult in the film. It's just like a span of like 2 weeks him being a kid. I would argue my hair just fell off, that that's one of the best, or if not the best, Superman origin story that's come out recently. Just as far as storytelling, I think it's better, and I would rather watch that over again.
Yeah, I think his for me it was just the relatability of the character, because normally I don't relate to Superman at all. Like he's just not a character I like, and just not someone I relate to in general. Like
I think there's like large gaps of when Superman's been done where somebody's writing Superman and not their critique on Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the large gaps in between, like there's versions of Superman I like. And to me, the what I hang is like my favorite children's book all time, 3 Questions, based on the Tolstoy fable. And like the boy in that story is trying to answer 3 questions, and it's like, who is the most important person? When it's the most important time? What is the most important thing to do? And like when Superman is trying to tackle those 3 questions, it's like when you have all the power, like how do I navigate? I think those are the best versions of Superman. But then you get a chunk that, Man of Steel and BVS are largely critiques on Superman and not actually Superman stories. Superman hardly speaks in BVS. And Man of Steel, he questionably doesn't have the most lines either.
Yeah.
And so I think I agree that a lot of Superman stuff is not interesting, but I think a lot of it comes because the person doesn't actually want to tell a Superman story.
Yeah, the understanding of his power and him trying to the more like that moral question, and him trying to be morally sound with the power he possesses is an interesting story, and we don't usually see it on film.
Yeah.
Like, because there's potential for it. Like, I mean, it's hard to stop Superman. Like, he's probably one of the most unstoppable superheroes, and from a personal perspective, like him trying to be and wanting to be a good person with all of that power can create an interesting story in how he uses it. But to your point, people don't usually go in that direction on film.
Injustice, the video games, even though that is a dark take on Superman, like you can tell that him and the Injustice comic books, Tom Taylor like understands Superman as a character, because Superman doesn't just go dark. They break the core of his character and like slowly whittle him to, oh, I'm a dictator now.
Right. Yeah, it's like, all right, I've tried on multiple occasions to do this the right way, and it never works out. And like, I'm tired of walking this line, so now I'm going to take control.
Yeah, they get there slowly. Like they slow burn it. By the time of the game we started, but yeah, like first Joker kills Lois Lane, and he's like, I killed Joker in a fit of anger. And then they were like, yo, you shouldn't have done that. He's like, should I have? And him trying to reconcile that forces him to take harsher measures. Like he picks up Atlantis and drops me in the desert. And then like eventually he gets to the point where he's like, I have to tell myself I'm justified in these actions I've taken, and eventually I'm gonna fall off. Then when his parents died also. Yeah, they slow burned it very well.
What if like the concept of Superman wanting to be a really good guy was cool in 1938? Like it's 20.
That's how I feel about billionaire Bruce Wayne.
Times are different. That like maybe I don't even think the story, if it was just made right now in 2020, I don't think the story would be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have like my comic book hill that I would die on every day. It's like the old guard needs to be phased out. Y'all have had 60, 70, 80 years to tell the story of one person, and y'all keep trying to make it work. And part of the reason it's not working is because y'all keep trying to make it work.
Yeah.
That's where Marvel is excelling, because they're highlighting superheroes that were not that guy. Like DC just keeps trying to make more Batman, Superman stories, but you have other heroes. And the fact that even if the other hero stories stay true to the comics, it's still a new story to us as far as on film, versus just trying to give us that same guy who we already know about him. We know his morals. We know what he's thinking mind-wise, but the times have changing and he's not. That makes sense.
I mean, shout out to like RDJ and Chris Evans being like, I'm out, so y'all can figure this crap out, because they sort of forced the hand.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Even before then, like, I wasn't checking for Iron Man until the film came out.
Huh.
I think to that point, if you look at like the Justice League, the characters in Justice League, like a lot of them do come from privilege, especially the portrayals that they chose for these characters. Like, they are more privileged than the characters that we see in Marvel. Like, yeah, we have Iron Man, who's the billionaire playboy philanthropist that is the Bruce Wayne, but then like you've got characters like Captain America who come from like more of a humble background. Like, even though he is now a super soldier, like he wasn't always that. Like, and that's a lot of times that's why people like the mutants and the X-Men, because all of those characters are pretty much like come from nothing. And like a lot of the characters that they've put on screen are kind of sort of like that, versus the DC characters that Batman, like them continuing to go into the Batman and Superman bag every time they try to bring DC back is like, can you go in another direction? Can we bring other characters out? Because Iron Man is not like a mainstream character. Like, people know of Iron Man and people knew of Iron Man, but it's not like a story that most people were following until what was it, 2006, 2007, 2008 movie.
BVS should have been a Luthor movie when you talk about telling new stories. But the extended pitch for that is for another day. But I absolutely think, like,
I agree with that.
When you go back and look at the footage they collected, you don't have to have crappy Batman, Superman scenes they had if you focus on Luthor, who is truly the crux of that movie.
Yeah, that's also yes, that's a great point, because it's who they choose to focus on and how they position these stories that also continues to fail them. Whereas, like,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the grandmother sweet tea scene. I think it's Grandma Sweet Tea in Batman versus Superman. Is still like the nastiest thing ever, and that scene stood out more to me. And it had nothing to do with Batman and Superman. It was all about Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm. The other scene that I call out when I talk about this is the scene where he's giving the speech at the dinner, and he's talking about how he was raised his whole life to believe that knowledge is power, and that knowledge without power is, and he takes that like crazy pause, and he's like, infuriating. And I'm like, that's the movie. He hates Superman because Superman is the antithesis to how he thinks the world works. And so, yeah, it would make sense that he put Batman and Superman against each other. But like, if the movie is the setup for Luthor making them fight each other, then you don't need the Martha scene or the scene where Superman awkwardly like kills a person and flies to Lois Lane's bathtub. Don't really know what was going on there, but it happened.
I think when these characters were first created, the fantasy of coming from money was everything. Like, they wanted to know about the lives of the wealthy and from beginning to end. Now in 2020, it's, I may have come from this, but I want to get to better. And these are the stories that we're highlighting more now. Like, we don't so much care about the people who came from it. We want to see the people who started out like us and have achieved it. Even in social media, those are the people who are more popular. It ain't the people who's always been wealthy. It's the ones, or at least the social media that I see and that I subscribe to. It's the people who are like me, who have gone where I would like to go.
Yeah, superheroes are very much rooted in a white male power fantasy,
Yes.
and it shows all the way through early superheroes. Most of them are white guys, and then when Wonder Woman came around, she was in bondage. That was literally a superpower weakness. Like Wonder Woman would lose her powers if you put her in bondage, and so they found a lot of weird ways to tie her up and do strange things. So,
Oh, we're trying to keep us down.
yeah. So it's at the core of the medium, and the superhero medium or the superhero genre being stuck in time, I think, causes more harm than it does good in a lot of ways.
All right, before we get into the next, we're gonna get into the comment section real quick before we go transition to the next topic. Ma, what's good? What's going on? Thank you for joining us. Do East and West Coast
So y'all
Aggie
staying
stuff.
up
Okay, Aggie Pride.
So y'all staying up till 3 a.m.? Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
I could be up.
Who is we?
It's Saturday.
I'm gonna let you know you'll be lucky if I'm up at midnight. If like I might have to set an alarm to wake up at midnight. One thing about me, I sleep. Shoot, even when we were in school, I was missing festivities because I was asleep. Where's Imani at? She sleep. That was
good to know.
I don't even think I started celebrating like the Jiho Shot Fest until after graduation because I missed it. I don't think I ever did that on campus or when I went to school. I was sleeping.
Shot Fest.
Dang, I need to think about it. Do I need a Shot Fest outfit?
I'm not really. You talking about like the one on social media?
Yeah.
It's Q's fault.
Huh?
Q starts it. I said Q started it. I feel like Q started that whole thing.
Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
But it's because he'll take a shot on camera, like, and then post it on social, and so people take that. Like, I really started noticing like a couple years ago during the week after we graduated, because like, like normally we're all together going to somebody's dorm to take a shot during like between classes, or like after we're done classes for the day, like go start taking shots. Then like so you would go, so then people started after work during the week of Jiho taking shots, taking a picture of the shot glass and then posting like Jiho. Like maybe people were doing that during college. I didn't pay attention to it like that, but I did start noticing it after we graduated.
That's when I started.
Yeah. It wasn't really a thing. Like,
did it taking the video? I don't know, but midnight shot o'clock. We did that when you was in high school. When you came through. When you came through and Pete.
That was Mark. That was Mark. I wasn't with Mark.
Who said my parents watching?
No, I wasn't there. That was only Mark. That was only Mark. That was only Mark. Because I remember him going up to homecoming. Because I mean, we went to the same high school, so like, he came back. He was like, "Dog, A&T, man."
you totally right. It was Mark.
He was like, "Yeah." He told me the story because like I knew him.
Yep.
And I knew Peter from high school because all three of us went to the same high school. Peter was a year ahead of us, and like I remember him telling those stories about Peter, and I'm like, bro, that's not the Peter I knew from high school at all, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to Mark and Pete. Those were good times. Good times. OG Coop, what's going on? Yeah, we gotta have virtual Jiho somehow.
Has to be planning a Zoom party somewhere.
It's plenty. It's got to be plenty. We should probably plan one.
Weekend did a HBCU Unity virtual homecoming. Something. My mom sent me a link.
The face.
Who's performing?
The face.
I don't know. My mom sent me a link, and I was like, if I got a window out,
Was it for us or was it for our parents?
It might have been
Hey,
for
that's
our
a
parents.
great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. What's going on, man? Yeah. That's a great question.
Nervous to make like a generational like change as far as homecoming goes. Like, how you gonna feel when our events are in the ballroom and Pretty Ricky is performing and we all got on like hard bottom shoes?
I
mean,
know.
I'm sort of falling out of touch with the music they got going now. Like, I'd be like,
the hills we already sliding, so it's
I look at
I'll
the
be
lineup,
fine
I'll
with
be
it by
like,
the time
I
get
know
there.
2 of those people.
I'm 25 and up partying it right
Basically.
now.
Yeah, basically. That's
I
what
can't
but
even
that's what
25
happens
out
though.
party.
It's like because they got
I'm all the way at, oh man, we gonna rent the Airbnb and have a little kickback because I went to a 25 and up party. Yo, this is what that was like when I was 25. You go and like everybody's excited to see each other, and they say hi. Then like 30 minutes in, most people are standing around. Then you all go out the next morning, and everybody says it was lit, and I was like having an existential crisis. Like,
did you really enjoy that?
No, it had me like running back the whole mile. I was like, I know you was there with me, and it wasn't that live. And I was like, did I do this in undergrad? Like, was it really that fun, or did I always just hype it up the next day? Because they're definitely sicing this.
It's a mix of both, though. Really,
that changes things.
They might have been.
But see now, like
we're drinking less now too.
That's true, but every party wasn't lit.
I can say I didn't party much. I went to the club G-Ho either freshman or sophomore year, and a fight broke out, and my friend got hit face out cold. And I was like, yo, this club life might not be for me. And
okay,
so I was saying, like, I don't think I clubbed too much when we were in school. I remember G-Ho, I want to say freshman or sophomore year, I went to the club, and I don't remember the name of the club. I don't think it was Inferno, but a fight broke out, and my friend got hit out, like, done. And I was like,
sounds like you went to like a random club and not one of the G-Ho official parties.
No, it was a G-Ho official party.
Oh dang, that's just an L.
Well, like downtown?
Yes.
We talking
I never see, like, I don't think,
you know what it was?
Never mind, I did.
What's the parties that's supposed to last all night long?
Pre-dawns?
Yeah,
yes.
The pre-dawn.
It was a pre-dawn in a club, and it got shut down at 2:00. And I remember everybody was mad, but the fight had something to do with that too.
Oh, of course it did. I think the only successful pre-dawn I went to was at Music City.
I was just about to say,
that's the only one that lasted for the whole duration. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't remember.
You out here naming clubs that don't even exist no more.
Yeah, Music City
got shut down when we were still in school. That was done by junior year.
No, it was like sophomore year because I only went like 1 year. It was freshman year to Music City for G-Ho.
See, y'all just out here sounding old. Clubs that don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist no more, bro. Like Campus Habitat's not named Campus Habitat anymore. It went through a name change every single year we were in school anyway. So God knows what the name of it is now.
Shout out to Music City for having a shuttle that picked us up right in front of Barbie.
Where Music City was like
in the middle.
Was that?
I couldn't tell you where it was because the shuttle took me there and dropped me off back at school.
Did we get on 40 to get to it? I feel like we did. Like,
I have no idea. All I know is there was nothing around it except
music. Like because we took.
You was getting on that Miss Frizzle Magic School bus. You wasn't even on the planet Earth.
And I wasn't even paying attention to where we were going. Like,
that's terrible. Now that I say it out loud,
it is because I would never do that.
Bad.
I would never do that. I can't do that no more. We just because but you with your friends and like that's all that matters. Yeah, like in the moment, you just like we about to go have a good time. We already lit like. And it was a great time. Safe. Everybody made it home.
any club that you have to bring alcohol to is suspicious. I never.
What?
By the time I got to go to Music City, they didn't have a liquor license, so people had to bring their own alcohol.
What? I never experienced.
I never experienced that either. No.
I will say I never got to go to Music City during like homecoming, but I remember the times I went. Like my friend told me, "Oh, we got to drink before we go," and I was like, "Okay." And because when I got there, people would.
You sure that wasn't because you was 18?
No, I'm 1,000% sure. People that like they were giving people their own drinks. I know for a fact that's what.
No, they did lose their liquor license, like, and they were still operating because they were operating for like a little while, and then like
BYOB.
Yeah, and then it was like, all right, well, we can't do this no more because it's just not working. Like, I mean, if you can't sell liquor at a club, it's only so long that you can keep your doors open.
But people were bringing their own stuff though. They were really
because it was fun. Like, it was fun. It was great. Like, it was the only club that had enough space to fit everybody.
It was a warehouse with couches everywhere.
Yeah, and it was wonderful.
And a pole that went from the floor all the way up.
It had several, and they had cages. It was wild. They had multiple. They had like 2 bars, I think.
I think so too.
On either side, because it's a long warehouse. Clubs on both sides. They had VIP lounges, like surrounding basically the dance floor. But you had space. Like there was a dance floor, but then you had like hella space like between the dance floor and the VIP lounges. And so it was like you weren't crowded. Like you were never like on top of people. Like never. It was great. Then like now you go to like all the other clubs, like they extra small. They always over fire code with how many people they got in there, because like you should not be shoulder to shoulder walking around the club. Like,
man, one time I was in Inferno and like where the dance floor was a little elevated. I don't even know what it's called now, but I had heels on and I didn't know that step was there. And all I could say was shout out to this giant man who was in front of me, because I really could have died.
Oh man,
you got a lot of stories for someone who don't be clubbing.
So like I stopped. I was doing it a lot.
Oh man.
Hey, listen.
I was like, nah.
When you start reflecting on all those moments, you realize you went way more than you thought you did.
I was doing it and then I stopped. And then it became like a house party thing. But then, well, you know what? No, I was doing house parties. Then I started clubbing. I had to stop doing house parties because when some of my friends, R.I.P. Vince, he moved to Campus Green freshman year, I think, like after the first semester. They threw a party and there was a fight and somebody like cut him open, his back. Do you remember him from Van Story? Did you live in Van Story?
Yeah, I lived in Van Story freshman year.
Do you remember Vince was cutting? I remember he was cutting people's hair in Van Story.
Nah, man. Shout out to Pat.
Okay, well, all I know is like had a party, big old fight broke out, weapons like in Campus Green, and I was like, I can't do this either. So,
nah, I think the craziest house party I went to, like the floor caved in. Like it was in Sebastian. Yes, and the floor caved in, and it was all over social media. But like we had just got there, and then like we heard this noise, and all of a sudden the floor caved in all the way up to like the kitchen area to the bar, like the whole like the living room area. The whole thing just caved in, just boom, just caved.
I remember
it was crazy. We were like, oh, we left. Mark was there.
I know he was there because you just definitely gave him Mark O. That wasn't a you O.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, because Mark is always the one making the sound effects. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I think Pat was there too. Pat was definitely driving.
Was that G-Ho or was that just a party?
That was just a party. I think that was just a Saturday.
What year?
These things you can't get into. You could first of all, you couldn't get into a Sebastian party during G-Ho. That just wasn't gonna happen.
Shout out to Pat's Camaro with the separate key for
the red Camaro. Bro, the red Camaro.
Wait,
was
what?
the truth. You listen.
That joint was so old, had a separate key for the door and the ignition.
Hey man, shout out to that Camaro, bro. That Camaro got great stories. That Camaro. He doesn't have it anymore. I'm like, man, when you get on, I was like, yo, when you get on, you gotta get another one of those Camaros, or you gotta try to find that one and buy it back just to keep it. The thing's got history.
Man, G-Ho 2021 is definitely going to be a rent and Airbnb and just have like a big ass kickback with all my friends.
Oh, I got there. I got there 3 years ago. That's where I've been.
Oh yeah, that's what I started doing.
Well, I haven't
After
been.
that
It's definitely
experience
the
I told
wave.
you about with the 25 plus, I was like, you know what? This ain't that real.
I haven't
Yeah,
been,
it's
since 2016. I never even got to go to the 25 plus parties.
well, I mean, they're like it depends on who's DJing, really. And then like most of we're like people are older than they want to admit. And like I feel like it just they don't got the energy to be out in the club like all night.
Because I want to be cute, but I want to sit down.
Yep, that's another thing. That's why the kickback is the move. Cause like everybody is in there, you gonna play some good music and like you can just talk and have normal conversations. Cause really, club is too loud. You can't have a conversation with nobody in the club. Like or a bar, like a bar, lounge, or kickback is like definitely the move.
All right, I have another A&T question, and then we should probably get back on track.
We definitely got to because we
Yep.
started losing people.
Where were y'all when the campus was locked down because somebody mistook an umbrella for a
Oh, I was in the
Oh.
engineering building.
I
With camp-
was
with-
in
with
the
the-
music room.
with a class on the other side of campus. And then like when they sent out the alert and was like, it's a black man between 5'10" and 6 foot wearing navy blue. I was like, oh crap,
that's
it's
everybody.
me. All right, I was like, what is this?
I'm like, no, that's the whole campus.
They said black man between 5'10" and 6 feet wearing navy blue. I was like, oh, so they're wearing school colors on
right.
a black campus. That really narrows it down.
Oh god, it was the worst. I remember I was in the music room next to Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had just come from Carter's class and like I think it was music history. I think I was taking. And then like I remember, yeah, so we went on lockdown, alert went out. And I remember when we got the alert, everybody started laughing because we were like, yo, this is like literally every black male on this campus. Like,
Right.
how is this helpful? Like it definitely lightened the mood. And then they found out it was an umbrella. We were like, yo.
I was in Van Story, and that was the year I was in RA. And I didn't have the pleasure of joking because all of a sudden I was responsible for lives. And I was like, what? And like, because this had been happening, we had like a game plan of things we were supposed to do if there was a shooter on campus. And so I had to tell these girls, hey, yo, get out the shower, get back in your room. Everybody get in your room. Do not leave your room. Like, now is not the time to pee. Stay in there. I don't know what's going on. And then I'm getting messages from like the RA and I don't even remember whoever like the head of the dorm was, like with instructions and like, don't let anybody leave. And I'm just like, well, like, what if we need to leave because something's going to happen? Like, what? And then it was the man with the umbrella. Also, it was Fried Chicken Friday and everybody was pissed.
It was Fried Chicken Friday.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
And it was during lunch.
I also
too.
don't remember what the hashtag was.
It was during lunch.
It was.
And we missed
started right before lunch around like around 10:30. So lunch hadn't started yet.
But it lasted for a minute.
Yeah, we missed like it took up the entire lunch that we were on lockdown.
I think so.
It started a little after lunch because people were locked.
It was
11
minutes
something.
left. Yeah, it was 20 minutes left of the cap being open because I remember that Simply line was
stupid
long that day.
They should have just left it open. Like, why? Just let us in there and eat. But I remember that was on CNN. That the only thing we were worried about was chicken.
Yep. Yeah.
I remember when they found out it was an umbrella. I don't remember what the hashtag was. It was like Umbrella Gate, but way cooler. And I was like, yo, whoever came up with this was fire.
They had like the local news had helicopters, like they were circling the campus. And I remember like as soon as the lockdown was let up, like there were kids running across campus to the cafeteria, and that was the footage they used for the lockdown. And like I remember going to Carter's class and he was pissed. He was like, why would they do that? Like, he was like, don't they see the helicopters? Like, why? Oh my Lord. That was the greatest.
I had class that day.
Man. It was great. I had to go.
That would probably been the best place to be on lockdown.
Oh God, he was.
Oh no,
he was
I knew a
heated.
couple people who were in the calf during
He was
lockdown, and they were
heated.
No,
legit.
I'm talking about with
Like,
Carter.
oh, you gotta be kidding me! Like, oh,
Text me to ask him what that day was like for him. I need to know because I don't think I spoke to him that day.
nah, yeah, he might probably remember it, but that was hilarious. I just to go. I knew to go over there just to get his raw reaction to when that happened because I knew because it was kids in the class talking about fried chicken Friday like basically the whole time we were on lockdown
And
then
you don't eat that
as
food.
he does it and so as soon because and he's a vegan on top of that so like and so when they started streaming across the straight up running across the campus to get to the cafeteria like he was just like oh Jesus because you could hear the helicopters up in the sky like. And then as soon as it hit the news, like that's the footage they used was like all the kids running to the cafeteria for Fried Chicken Friday. That was crazy. Well, anyway, let's get back on topic. That was a quick.
What is the next topic?
20-minute Aggie departure. Next topic we got Fat Thor. Maybe going away for Love and Thunder. According to the Den of Nerds, he didn't really break the story, but there was a scooper. What's his name on Twitter? It's a Marvel scooper. I can't remember what his name was, but he tweeted that the working title for Thor: Love and Thunder is The Big Salad. So that led people to assume that, based on the name, Thor is going to be trimming down, getting back into shape. I guess first of all, what do you guys think about? What were your opinions of Fat Thor?
I loved Fat Thor. I have a question: is Love and Thunder when Shorty becomes Thor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is pretty much Natalie.
Fat, and he doesn't feel like working right now. That's what I want to know. Is that why she has to step up?
No, not according to Natalie Portman, who's pretty much told us what the plot is, even though she wasn't supposed to. Yeah, because it was one of those weird things. Like she was in an interview and then she's like, well, I can't really say anything, but Jane Foster has cancer and she gets the power of Thor and she's wielding Mjolnir. And I was like, she basically just gave away the whole plot of the movie.
That is the plot of the comic arc, The Mighty Thor, that was happening the same time as the Unworthy Thor. But except in The Mighty Thor, you didn't know it was Jane Foster wielding the hammer, and it was like the reveal at the end. So be interesting to see how they do this movie-wise.
Well, if that was going to be a plot point, she definitely spoiled that because she said that in the interview that she's wielding Mjolnir in the movie. So I'm not sure how much of a secret or a plot point that was going to be, but it's been revealed.
Yeah. But yeah, Fat Thor. I thought Fat Thor was cool. I thought it was cool that people felt seen by Thor being fat. Him losing weight again. I don't know how much weight that holds because if we transition into Jane Foster Thor, like this is the last hurrah anyway.
Yeah.
The last hurrah. Is there going to be no more regular Thor after this?
Maybe he pops up, but I think Jane's and Valkyrie are supposed to be mainlining. At the end of Endgame, he was like, "Oh, y'all go ahead and start New Asgard. I'ma chill."
Yeah, he went off with the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of Endgame.
I need to watch that again, but just the end because I don't feel like watching.
I was about to say that's a commitment.
I'm gonna start right from when they start the Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America against
Thanos.
Yes,
yeah.
That's why I start right there. That's like what 20 minutes before it ends.
So after they get the stones, and after the Hulk snap.
Yeah, right when Thor shows up in New York, that's when I'm gonna check in. I don't have time for that other stuff so much.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're gonna watch all of them going to get the stones.
No, Thor shows up after they get the stones when they get back, right? Because that's
He's there. He's pretty much there the whole time.
He gets one of the stones. He gets the
Yeah.
reality stone because he goes back in the past and sees his mom,
Yeah.
and he's like calling the hammer for
Yeah.
half the time.
They
He's there.
bring him back to the fold early
Did
because
I say
he
Thor?
cuts.
I meant
Yeah.
Thanos. My bad.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So it's
Thanos
after.
shows up in New York at the compound. That's
Yeah.
not
Okay. I was
My
about to
bad,
say, I'm like, so you're gonna watch like all but the first
I'm not
10 minutes?
I've seen that movie from beginning to end once, and I'm not doing it. Actually, I didn't really. I liked the
Same.
ending and how powerful it was, but the rest of the movie was just too much for me.
I like the time travel science. It is my favorite time travel science in the movie.
I think it's probably the most accurate as far as like what might be real. Every other movie is stupid about it, but as far as the amount of it on screen, it's too much movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. It is a lot to take in. It was
worth the one watch, and then I was like, okay, cool.
It was definitely worth going to see in the theater.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth that for sure. Because I watched it in the theater and then I saw it, I think, on Disney Plus after, and it is nowhere near what it was like in the theater.
The best way to watch it is to go on YouTube and watch the person in the theater who's recording the fight scene, but then you can also hear the theater's reaction. Like
yes, because that's why it was worth going to the theater to see. Because when
watching that,
yes,
you feel that emotion that you felt that first time, like, oh my goodness, this is great.
Yeah, because I saw Endgame on a Friday night that it came out, and so it packed theater. And that scene, as soon as the circles start to open up, because Falcon says, check left or check your flank or whatever.
On your
On your left.
Yeah.
That's what he said when they were jogging.
Yeah, he says on your left, and then all of a sudden the circles start opening, and then Black Panther walks through the gate, bro.
Keep on back,
bruh. The whole theater went crazy, and I was like, "Yo, that moment will live forever with me because that was amazing."
Also, the pure joy of when Captain Marvel came and jacked up the ship.
Oh yeah, bro. Like the whole thing was like it was all ecstasy. That whole fight scene was like
after the theater,
that was just a straight up adrenaline rush.
Go to sleep. It doesn't matter what time you went to go sleep.
You
were up for like a solid 5 hours after you saw that movie.
I just saw the greatest fight of all time.
Like, do I need to go defend the planet?
Yeah, like I was like literally back to what I was saying last week. Like I was so in the moment, like the whole girl power scene that they had with all the women. It didn't even register for me. Like until the second time I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what people are talking about. But like, yeah, like I was there. I was locked into that scene. Like that whole fight from when Thanos shows up in New York to the end was like that was everything. That was worth like all 22 films.
Yeah, it was a good coalescing of everything else, which is what made it worth the watch.
Yeah.
Though I gotta say, Hawkeye, there is no way Hawkeye should just be walking around like everything's good. That man became a serial killer.
He really did, yo. That man's got to have he's got to have PTSD.
That man was like, "Oh, my family's dead. I'm gonna just travel the world killing drug lords."
That's what we need. We need to know what he was doing those 5 years. Because didn't he have a sword?
Yeah, he said. Yeah, when they met up, he was like,
he turned into Batman that kills people.
That's what we need a film or a show of. What he was doing. Even they can make it animated. I just need to see it on screen.
Disney's not doing that.
I'm just like, that dude need to suffer some consequences, man, indiscriminately.
Bro, they just let him run.
He wasn't killing to make the world a better place. He was just pissed because his family was dead. So he
was killing like bad people. Like, I'm mad, so I'm gonna kill bad people. Not I want to save the world, so I'm gonna kill bad people. I mean, he's still killing people.
That's why I'm saying it's the problem. This man, truly a serial killer.
I'm cool with it.
Where does that stop? Because that path can lead you down some really dark places.
Well, he got his family back, so now
right. But he got his family back. Man, okay. His family's probably
Wait a second. Let me. Have you seen Sicario?
I love that movie.
Okay, so you know when Benicio del Toro had the whole family in the room, and he was like, he at like that final scene when he was with the drug lord and the whole family, and he killed all of them.
I mean, they kill his family though.
You seen
His kid, the drug lord's kids killed his family.
I mean, I'm not justifying the baby's dying. I'm just saying he wanted him to feel the same pain. But after he killed the whole family,
and we're saying, where does that stop? Because I've seen how that can go. Because you go look at the kids and go, look, well, they might
Breaking Bad season 5. Breaking Bad season 4. He could have walked away. He got everything he wanted. He got his family back. The drug lord's dead. This man was like, nah, I like the feeling. I like the rush.
Look, as for Sicario, he didn't get his family back. Hawkeye got his family back. So
they don't undo what he. Okay, but there was 5 years. There was 5 years when he was killing indiscriminately. That don't just go away.
I'm not saying it should go away. I'm just saying, like, maybe his future is going to be a little different because he got his family back now. Versus Benicio del Toro, like he didn't get his family back. He killed people. And you saw the second one, he's still killing people. Although in the second one, he was low-key doing good.
Bro, the dude is teaching his daughter how to shoot an arrow now. Like,
I mean, because I done killed a lot of people.
Well,
Take a break, so let me teach you how to do it, and just don't do what I did.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, him teaching his daughter to be better, cool. I'm just like, the rest of the world, we gonna just let this guy cook.
Unless they show that he's got a moral compass that he's teaching to her. I don't know.
Does the world know?
The Avengers know.
Avengers know. That's why I'm saying here, like, why Black Widow was the one who had to go while we watched this man talk about atrocities.
Yeah. I was about to say, I was like, yeah, let him do that. Like, let him. I was okay with him.
Well, it's only
being
because
sacrificed.
he was going to get his family back, and she knew that was.
But he didn't know that. He didn't know that. I'm saying in the moment, he was the one that was worth sacrificing.
He didn't know that this family would come back after the snap.
Yeah, that was. He didn't want to. He didn't. He wanted to sacrifice himself because he didn't want to live with the reality of what he did those 5 years and have to live with his family with all that.
When he said that, I was like,
yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah,
I mean, not
go out a hero.
I wanted her to die, but
that was his moment to go out a hero. Like he could have, if him sacrificing himself to bring his family back was a better sacrifice.
There was another option, and that was her going. She ain't got no family anyway.
But now you got to live with like a 5 year. You got to live with a 5 year serial killer,
and his mom, and his wife, and his kids. I mean,
that don't go away.
All right, so you know how Maeve and the boys found out her boo thing, found out about the plane?
Yeah.
Imagine Hawkeye's wife finding out about what he was doing.
All the atrocities he was committing.
I honestly see this woman being like, "We're gonna get through this."
That's a problem. That is a problem.
You don't see that?
That's a problem because then that means they're all okay with this, and we don't need more of those people in the world.
I'm just saying that he had to suffer through her dying. She died. Their kids died. And he lost his mind.
Right.
Like, I can't take this. I'm going. Also, he was killing bad people. Like, I think that's worth saying. He was killing bad people, y'all. He wasn't killing little Susie on the corner.
We don't know that.
Nah, he's killing bad people. Don't work for me.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was doing it for the justice. He was doing it because he was pissed.
Okay. But I'm also like a Dexter sympathizer because, yeah, he's a serial killer, but he was killing bad people too. He was killing.
We gonna let you rock on
I'm
that.
probably like the wrong person to have this argument.
Yeah, we gonna let you rock with that.
Just don't kill me and I'm cool.
Okay, I understand that, but I'm gonna let you rock with that.
Makes perfect sense to me.
All I'm saying, he was the better sacrifice. Anyways, next topic.
Says Black Widow's outfits was too tight for her to be doing the moves in the first place.
I mean, they gotta be tight for her to do the moves. I mean, she gonna
either tight or loose.
They have to be all up in her cracks tight. That's all I'm saying. That's not her fault though. That's completely unrelated to the issue. She didn't have to die because of that. In a perfect world, why didn't any of them have to die? Also, I think
wait, no, we moving on. We moving on. Oh Lord, no. Anyways, next topic. Because what?
Y'all know
that made no sense.
Genre. So clearly, I'm always for the killing.
Yeah. Final topic in the news. We got a little bit of Star Wars news. They did some camera testing this week or not too long ago on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The actor Ewan McGregor, who is the actor who portrayed Obi-Wan in the prequels, was on the set of the volume, which is where they shoot the Mandalorian, doing some test shooting on camera in front of the volume, which is usually a telltale sign that they're getting ready to start production pretty soon, next few weeks. When this news broke, people began to speculate that that he would make an appearance in The Mandalorian, which I knew was false because there's no way he's long dead. But you know, I'm looking forward to this series. The things that I've been hearing about this story and how it's going to unfold are interesting to me. And I like the director, who is Deborah Chow, who did a few episodes of The Mandalorian. Both of those episodes I really liked. I think she will do a good job with this story. This is going to take place, this show takes place between episode 3 and episode 4. As Obi-Wan is transitioning from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Jedi General, to the more sagely monk we see in A New Hope. And
so by the end of the show, he's going to be bumming on Tatooine.
He will be bumming on Tatooine for the whole show. Like it's more about it's an interesting story because I want to see that them deal with the trauma of the war, which is what they're going to talk about. Like, him dealing with the trauma of Order 66 and what happened in the betrayal and how the Jedi were led astray. And like, they're going to be flashback scenes to the Clone Wars. And Hayden Christensen and himself are supposed to be, you know, they're going to have live action sequences of certain battles that took place during the Clone Wars. And they'll be dressed in their Clone Wars armor and you know, I think it's going to be a very interesting story, like that interpersonal story of how how this Jedi goes from being that warrior that we see in the prequels to more of that monk, like to the story of the samurai becoming the monk is, I want to see that. I don't think it may not be for everybody, but like, yeah, I am curious about that transition period for Obi-Wan. I always have been. Like, because how does one transition from being a Jedi general in a galactic war that was all a deception and a fabrication to lose friends and allies, and then to be betrayed by the very thing that you were supposed to be protecting, and have all of that be all the manipulation and to the confrontation with his best friend in Anakin Skywalker and having to fight, and then also having to monitor and raise his child. Like, all of it, there's a lot of like personal things that you can tackle with the character of Obi-Wan and the development of Obi-Wan in this series, in this time period. That would be very interesting, and it'd be very different from what we've seen in Star Wars, as far in the TV shows and the movies.
It's still in like pre-production, like there's no casting and stuff yet, right?
Oh, casting's done. Like, if they're doing camera testing, that means they're getting ready to start production. Because if he was,
do we know who's been casting?
Not the full cast. I know the only thing they've announced is that Ewan McGregor is coming back to play Obi-Wan, and whoever else is in it, we don't know. I've heard rumors that Tamara Morrison, who played all of the clones in the prequels, is coming back to the series, as well as Hayden Christensen, but that has not been confirmed by Lucasfilm or Disney.
Is he playing an eight? Like, are they? Because he's older now. Well, I mean, I guess
He would be about the age of Obi-Wan during the time period, because I think he's mid 40s, 50s now.
Gotcha.
And Alec McGinnis was like 65 in A New Hope. So he's actually age-wise where he should be to play this. So it's perfect timing for it.
Gotcha. Well, that's nice.
Seems cool.
He aged well.
Yeah. Yeah. And also during this time period, he, Yoda and I keep saying Obi-Wan, but Qui-Gon is teaching Obi-Wan and Yoda how to become Force ghosts. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be a factor. Yoda? Yeah. Qui-Gon was the first person he was the first Jedi to come back as a Force ghost. And he teaches Yoda how to do it in the Clone Wars in the last season, in season 6. Because it's about the cosmic, it's a cosmic force thing. Like, so Yoda has to learn about the cosmic force because he's not he follows the light side of the force, and the light side of the force and the cosmic force are kind of sort of two separate things.
Then where was Qui-Gon when Anakin needed him? Why wasn't he Force Ghost popping up saying, "Hey, yo, what's good"? He
couldn't physically manifest, but all he is his voice. Like, he was able to maintain his memories, his knowledge, and he could speak. And he does. He tries to stop Anakin on Tatooine when he's slaughtering the Tusken Raiders. You hear Qui-Gon's voice the whole time, and Anakin hears it, but he doesn't believe that it's Qui-Gon. He just thinks that is his mind playing tricks on him.
Huh.
Yeah, and he can come. The only place that he can he can't manifest fully, but he can come back as like somewhat like a light is on Dagobah, and he tells Yoda to meet him on Dagobah during in the Clone Wars, and this is where Yoda learns of Dagobah in the first place. And that's where his lesson begins. And so after Order 66, Yoda goes back to Dagobah, and that's where he goes into seclusion, and Qui-Gon continues to commune with him while he's in exile. And then he does the same thing for Obi-Wan. And Yoda does say this in Revenge of the Sith. He tells Obi-Wan that. But yeah, so there's no such thing as a Force ghost for Qui-Gon Jinn. So shout out to Qui-Gon Jinn for believing in the cosmic force.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch these movies again because I don't know what y'all talking about.
Ha! Well,
I've seen them all, and I retained nothing.
I was about to say, a chunk of what he's talking about is Clone Wars, not the movies. So
yeah, Clone Wars.
The majority that I haven't finished yet.
The majority of that is from the Clone Wars animated TV show.
Got you. Okay, I feel better now.
Yeah, there you go. Other Lucasfilms news, though. Shout out to Rick Famuyiwa working on The Mandalorian, because that has led to the first non-Indiana Jones Star Wars films that Lucasfilm is going to produce. It's going to be Children of Blood and Bone, Tomi Adeyemi.
Word.
Excited about that. If y'all don't know what Children of Blood and Bone is, it's a dope fantasy book written by Nigerian American women about our age, and all of the magic is based on Yoruba mythology.
Oh, word, that's fire.
Yeah, so
it's going to be a lot of blackness on my screen.
Lots and lots of blackness on your screen.
I like that.
Yeah, I've heard too that they have a lot of projects planned for the directors of The Mandalorian at Lucasfilm and Disney. They're going to keep them for as long as they can. And a lot of these shows, there's a lot of things that Disney is going to announce probably, and that will, I guess that may be one of them. It's going to be under Lucasfilm.
Yeah, so they announced this week it's the first non-Indiana Jones Star Wars Lucasfilm.
Is
and I guess Red Tails
dark in any way?
Is what?
Is the book dark in any way?
Semi-dark, yeah. There's like death and some darkness magic, but it's YA, so it's young adult fiction. So
Gotcha.
there's lines.
So
It's not
Disney
R.
will do it
It'll be
justice. Disney is
PG-13.
not gonna like lighten it up.
I mean, there's faith in the fact that it's Lucasfilms and not Disney Direct, and then faith in that they got a black director on it. So like as of right now, I'm hype off it.
The key Disney and Lucasfilm really kind of let their directors rock, but that is honestly most of the time that's the problem, because if the director doesn't know the source material, that's where you start running into issues. Ryan Johnson. But no, like, so he's a, Rick Famuyiwa is a great director. So I'm pretty sure they'll let him tell the story that he wants to tell, and I'm sure he'll stay true to the source material as much as he can, translate it into the live action. Is it going to be live action or animation?
Live action.
Live action, yeah. So yeah. Cool.
That's exciting. Another book for me to add to my list of books that I haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, and what's the name of it again?
Children of Blood and Bone.
Write that down.
I'm gonna have to pick that up.
Yeah, your second book's out now too.
Oh, so
Children
is
of
this
Blood
going to be like a tree? Is this going to be a trilogy, possibly?
Yes.
Of books? Oh,
Yes.
That's even more exciting.
Like that. I'm always down for a series. I love like just one-time films, but I love when stories don't end, as long as they're good stories.
Yeah, like that's the key, is to create these fictional universes that, while a story that story may end, there can be others within this universe. Like, and with how the industry is moving, I think you'll see a lot of that, and I think Disney is going to announce a lot of those types of projects. Like with streaming and what they're able to do with the volume technology, it's going to really change serial television and streaming for a lot of Hollywood. Like, one, the cost of production is a lot cheaper. You can almost cut out most of your location scouting because of how, I don't know if you've seen that episode. I think it's episode 4 of the Mandalorian gallery on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I saw where they use video game engines to.
Yeah, like go if you have
environment.
Disney Plus, go watch that, because that is amazing. Like what they did with the volume, and I'm like, every time I see that episode, I'm like, yeah, this is going to really change how Hollywood produces, especially serial television, because it's a lot cheaper to do, and the quality can rival like a feature film production. So like now in TV and serial productions, you can get that same level of detail and quality that you would get in a large budget feature film.
The only thing I could think of is like fake news is such a big thing, but like wait till fake videos become more.
Oh yeah, no.
Like it's happening now, but it's gonna get worse, and I'm nervous. I am nervous.
Oh yeah, those deepfakes, like, but that deepfake technology is really old. It's just now in the mainstream, like common people can get access to it now. Because like that, the face swapping stuff that they can do, and like you can edit video to make it look like someone saying something that they're not, and then dub it over. Like that's not new technology at all. It's just now it's in the hands of normal everyday people, and
they're doing crazy things like putting Issa Rae's face on Luther Vandross.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's a quality video right there. If you've never seen it, look it up, people.
All right. So yeah, that's the Star Wars news. And I guess there was John Boyega talked about Finn possibility of returning to the character, and he gave some circumstances. He's not opposed to returning as the character sometime in the future, but he wants a story. He wants Finn to have his own story, which to me makes sense, and I would love to see that. And it's deserved. Like, he should have his own story. The way that character was treated in these films, he definitely deserves his own story on Disney Plus. That's developed, and he should have some sort of creative control over it. A lot of creative control over it, and he should have his choice in who's going to direct it, and all. But that character arc is not something that we haven't seen before in Disney, not in Disney, in Star Wars. Like, in 1995, there was a character that was introduced into the Star Wars universe called Kyle Katarn, who was during the age of the Empire, like right after Return of the Jedi. He was a stormtrooper who defected to the rebellion, and he was force sensitive. He found Luke Skywalker and began to train as a Jedi, and he became Luke Skywalker's right-hand man. Like, he was basically the Mace Windu to Luke Skywalker's Yoda. So the character arc for Finn is not new at all. We've seen this like that, and Kyle Katarn is, like, for a lot of the hardcore fans, he's one of an iconic and favorite character. So, initially when Finn was marketed, when I saw the stormtrooper all of a sudden have the lightsaber, like, it instantly clicked for me. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be like Kyle Katarn. That's badass. Like, yeah, love to see that. But that's not quite how it turned out.
Yeah. So if he's back right, it'd be a cool thing. So y'all, I gotta skate. So y'all keep being great.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us, Lou. As always, appreciate you for stopping by.
All right. Catch y'all.
Until next time. All right.
Two of us.
All right, let's get into this community discussion.
It's time to get spooky, y'all.
Time to get spooky.
Can I just say how I forgot to mention it on last week's episode, but everything that we love is, like, somehow rooted in racism. And it sucks. So I listened to the podcast that was recommended by Lou that spoke about the origin of zombie films. And that lore comes from Haitian slavery. Basically, when the French occupied Haiti and brought all those slaves there, and the term zombie was used to describe a slave, a soulless being ripped away from their own country with no history, no family, just working aimlessly. Not a violent being that feasted on people, but just someone existing.
A drone.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it became a mainstream popular term after the United States invaded Haiti. And basically, French slavery had ended, and then the United States brought it back and called it a different name. And zombie lore, became more popularized as far as, like, people heard the word more and didn't understand. So the first zombie film, I think it was called White Zombie. But basically, it showed Haitians as barbaric and needy beings that needed help. And the film justified the American occupation of Haiti. Films have evolved a lot since then. And of course, it's in no way connected to the racism now. But it's just crazy how
it's rooted.
Yep. So, yeah.
I didn't know the roots. That's interesting. But the way that was, the way you just put it, it's believable.
It was actually a very informative podcast. I wish it was longer. It was only like 45 minutes, but it's the NPR podcast called Throughline. This was their 2019 Halloween episode. So it came out last year, October 31st, and it was really, really dope. So I recommend that everybody listen to it. It was really captivating. They also mentioned how popular the zombie ideal was, especially after, like, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and how it was popular, to use in media and for advertising. And then in the 1990s, Serial killer horror became more popular. So you had your Jason Voorhees, you had your Michael Myers, you had Freddy Krueger, and so that died down, and it was actually brought back because zombie films became popularized again after 9/11 because our fears changed. And from 2001 to 2009, I think they said over 200 zombie films were made.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
But that is believable because usually the horror elements. Hold on, what's up, Cat? The horror elements usually reflect some societal fear.
Absolutely.
So that makes a lot of sense to me.
It makes a deal of sense, and I was in a way not offended, but like, yo, these people really used us.
Oh yeah, that's like,
and now I'm trying to figure out what changed to make the paranormal activities and what changed to make the Annabelles and the Conjurings. And now our topic for today, of course, is demonic possession films, but I would argue that those are some of the more popular films right now. And what changed culturally to make that happen? That's just what I can't help but think about.
Yeah, that is yeah, because I haven't really thought about what's going on, but it started to gain popularity like what, 2008, really, around time Obama was elected. Those, because I think, when did Paranormal Activity come out? Because I was in high school when that came out, but that genre started to gain popularity around that time, so there may be some sort of connection.
So it was before his election, but then it definitely blew up afterwards. Let me find out that these movies are popular because people are scared of Black people.
Possibly.
Forget possibly, like it's highly probable.
Yeah, this societal fears. Definitely. Things always pop into the conversation. Yeah, the pop culture in general does that. Like it trends, or what people like and what is popular in the mainstream changes with whatever else is going on in society, and what the majority of people's fears are, or what they fantasize about.
I would say the example of that, like the group or the show or the film that's doing that the best right now, is probably Black Mirror. Black Mirror, it doesn't matter what the episode is about, they know how to terrify us right now.
Yeah, like I think every generation has like that Twilight Zone type of movie or TV show. Those things, and I'm trying to think, because after, well, not necessarily. Yeah, because I would categorize X-Files in that. A lot of this has to do with like conspiracy theories and conspiracies, and a mistrust of the government.
Yeah.
Usually, that's when those things are kind of heightened. Because I want to say Twilight Zone was late 50s, 60s, so that's Cold War, communism, Cuban Missile Crisis, all that like happening at the time. There's a distrust in the government and governing of society, and then now you got shows with conspiracy theories. They start to gain popularity. Usually, a lot of times, it's war times. Yeah, so there's a correlation between that and war. So like, and it, with every genre, it shifts based on where people are mentally. And then a lot of times, sometimes it's just sometimes there's fatigue with a particular genre, and then something crops back up that is we haven't seen in a while, and it catches on. Like I feel like that with paranormal activity because the found footage started to gain a lot of momentum around there in the early 2000s, and I think it just carried over into the demonic possession, and then there was an absence in pop culture of those types of films, and then when they made a resurgence with a different twist and spin, people latched onto it.
There's probably, I would argue that a lot of the demonic possession films right now have a found footage element to them. Like there's in, like if you think about not Insidious, what's the film Sinister, and how there's a lot of film involved, and then even the Conjuring and the Annabelle films, it's looking back on things, or they're actively recording video and going back and looking at it.
Yeah, and a lot of it is from that perspective, like either they'll switch the camera view to someone who's recording, like, and so it'll be like a mix of found footage and like actual the set production. So yeah, like I think it's an aesthetic choice that's different, that kind of sort of revitalizes that particular genre. And then there's also some like social issues that always play into it, because society, we're social. Whenever things arise, like there's always one side and there's another side, and people try to play into those angles all the time because that's what gets people riled up and what gets people going. Like, and it keeps a certain level of relevance within society, because when an idea is outdated, then it loses its appeal and people are not going to go pay to see it. Like, whether we like to say it or not, like we'll go see a lot of things that would be quote unquote controversial because of that fact that it's controversial. Like, it does have a certain appeal. Like, we'll go see like, for even in comedy, like we watch stand-up comedians because we know stand-up comedians usually say something that's controversially relevant to whatever's going on in society. And
people watch
Dave Chappelle is like the master of it, because he knows how to tightrope without offending anybody. It's wild. Like, I don't really, him and Richard Pryor, pretty much the only ones that I can think of off top, and I may be missing someone. I don't know every single comedian, but they're the ones that seem to have always been able to walk that line with fans from all walks of life, be able to make comedy about us and these people, and we all end up walking out laughing and enjoying it in the way they critique society. But anyway, so yeah, let's get into this. Like, what are our favorite demonic possession movies? Because I'm definitely leaning to Paranormal
Activity. Which one?
Paranormal Activity, the first one, because it's I mean, I would say the first one, but then which one had the girl? Was that the third one or the second one that had the girls?
I think that's the second Paranormal Activity.
Because that one was my favorite, because that one scared me probably more than the other one did. And then The Omen.
And the little boy.
Yeah, not The Omen.
Insidious?
No, Insidious is up there, but the who else? Was it Sinister? I think it's not Sinister. I can't remember the name of it.
What's it about?
It's like, it takes place in like Italy or somewhere in Europe. The lady she's like possessed by a demon, and they got her locked in a mental home.
The Right? She's not pregnant, is she?
She's older. She had kids. She burned down her house. Like, I can't remember. Possession movies. So let me see. That movie was wild.
When did it come out? It's not ringing any bells for me.
Mid 2000s, I believe. I was Let me see. I don't know. Anyway, I'll find it. And then what are some of yours?
I mean, definitely Hereditary. I think Hereditary came out either 2018, 2000, or 2019. It's a film there's kind of a little bit of cult stuff going on there, but there is definitely some possession. It's wild. I would say it has more of, it's a slow burn, but it's creepy. That's the best way to describe that film. It's creepy. It's out there. It's a one and done type of thing. I would like to watch it again. I've only seen it once because it did something to me.
Mhm.
I would like to watch it again, though. Now that I know what's going to happen, I'm strong enough and I can do it. But that's up there for me. Sinister, I love the concept of the possession and how it works and how the demon, does his dirt. I think that's dope. I would also like to see another one. I think there are two. I think they could easily do a third one. Because technically the story, the way they do it, it has to keep on going. I don't want to give away too much because I love those films and I definitely think that people need to know. Real quick, Cat 29, we are talking about demonic possession films, our favorite demonic possession films.
Yeah, films. It can be film or TV.
Or TV shows.
Yeah, so it was The Devil Inside was the movie I was thinking of. Have you seen
Devil Inside? Let me Google it. Let me do my Googles. If not,
this is also a found footage one. This movie is crazy. Like that's
you know
one.
what? I recognize the poster with the nun.
This movie is insane.
But you know what? That came out while we were in school, so I may not have seen it.
Yeah, it came out 2012. I saw this with Heem. This movie right here is insane. It's definitely in my top 5 because I had forgotten about it because like we saw it in theaters. I saw it that one time and it was like something I tried to push out of my mind. It was that good.
You know what? It's one of the films that inspired the A Haunted House by which Wayans is it? Marlon Wayans?
Yes. But if you haven't seen that movie, dog,
I'm probably missing out on stuff. But yeah, I definitely need to check that out.
Yeah, and it's R. It's rated R. It's a hard R too.
Hard R.
It's a hard R. Rated R. Yeah. It's
a good one for me, which it's not so much jump scare. It might be a little bit more drama, but it's still maybe horror drama. It's The Right, starring, what's this man's name? The guy who played Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins. I believe it takes place somewhere in Europe. It follows a seminary student and he's learning from a priest, and the priest is showing the process of exorcism. And in film, it's usually a very dramatic one-time thing. Mm-hmm. But in The Right, they show us that, it's not something that is done instantly. It takes time. And it shows him trying to free a pregnant woman of a demon. And yeah, but that's a really good film. That's high on my list too. The Right. It's not so much jump scare. Like I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite because of the story that was told.
Anthony Hopkins is in this, isn't he?
Yeah, he did a great job in that.
Yeah, film. I remember seeing a trailer for. Yeah, and like these movies, these were all coming out like for whatever reason at the same time. Like, is this also have some found footage elements? Because the Devil Inside has some found footage. Like elements within the movie where like because she's in a mental asylum and like so the doctors are recording their sessions with her like just as for science and for documentation, so there are some found footage elements in it. Like you have to see that movie. But yeah, so does it have any of those elements?
I don't think so. So in the film, there's a seminary student, he finds out that he has to attend a Vatican school of exorcism, and he doesn't believe in that. He's more so like people who have demons in them are more than likely mentally ill. Mm-hmm. And so ends up becoming the student of Anthony Hopkins' character, and he's starting to realize like, oh, this is real, and what he thought about it is similar to what we've seen in films, and in the right, that's not true as far as the process of an exorcism and how it works. And so he gets to see that, and in turn he ends up, you know, realizing like, okay, this is the real deal. And if anything, his relationship with God changes too. So I would say if you're the type of person who can't really handle jump scares and horror, you would like this film. Anybody would enjoy this film, but this is a safer horror film for someone who is afraid. That makes sense.
Yeah. You know what? I just made the cultural connection as far why the possession films started making comeback.
Hit me.
It's the Catholic Church stuff. Because the Catholic Church deals with a lot with exorcisms specifically. And so when all of the scandals were coming out about like this is mid 2000s when with the boys with the Catholic Church and the priests being basically the things that they were doing to the children were awful, and it was being swept under the rug by the Catholic Church. Like when all of that started breaking, all of a sudden we got an influx of the demonic possession movies, and I think that's probably the correlation.
Copy. Oh, at least they had nothing to do with us.
Not directly, but yeah, I think a lot has to do because you got when did
in like early 2000, like 2010, 2000 in between 2010 2012 is when they all popped off.
Yeah, so like all of that was starting. That lines up with what was going on in society culturally, and then the Passion of the Christ probably came out sometime in that. I think a couple of years. When did Passion of the Christ come out? Like early 2000s?
No, that came out 2004. But that could have sparked it because that was around the same time that the church scandals blew up too. Yeah,
that was the first round of scandals that came out. Like those, the first round I think came out because that's what those. I think that was the Boston ones.
Ooh, wait, unrelated. The Passion of the Christ budget was $30 million, and they made 600 and what did I say? 30,000. It was $30 million, and they made $622 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised that a lot of people watched it, but just seeing that number is crazy.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they did it for that budget, and that's impressive because I mean that's basically like an independent. Well, not an independent film, but you've just graduated from independent films, and now you've got your first studio deal type of budget. Like anything, like basically under $50,000 is like, all right. The director has just made waves at like Sundance, and now they got in their first real studio project, and like their budget's probably like 50 to 75 million. So yeah, for them to do it with like a $33 million budget, and you knew. They had to have known that most of the like Christians and Catholics would have gone to go see that movie.
Yeah, I remember being forced to watch it.
Yeah, like they had to have known that.
Shook me.
Yeah, it was good. Mel Gibson directed. He starred and directed in that, didn't he? I think he directed it. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, back on the topic. So yeah, Cad, if you keep listening, we got a bunch of recommendations because the Conjuring series definitely. Can you binge these type of movies? I think that's insane.
So I can because what am I trying to say? I've never binged these films when I've seen them the first time. This is always like Paranormal Activity's on. Well, let me go down the rabbit hole and rewatch them all. And I can do the same with the Annabelle and the Conjuring films. But as for watching them the first time, the only strong memory I have is watching Hereditary for the first time. I watched it at night with the lights off, and I was not okay. So I don't think you can binge like a movie that's that creepy. You can't binge that. You're gonna need a break afterwards.
Yeah.
I say it depends on the type of film. Like I could easily watch films like The Rite back to back, but the Rite isn't so much horror as is the topic of the film is scary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah. But I would say try it. I wouldn't recommend binging things and starting with Hereditary. I would say that's what you want to end with. Hereditary is the last thing you want to see. But things like Paranormal Activity, they're more like jump scare films. Like
I would say that's a good entry point.
Yeah,
especially especially in the modern like horror. Like there are definitely classics that you can go back to and watch, like The Thing, Exorcist. Well, The Thing's not really possession, but Exorcist would definitely be
The
one.
Thing's an alien film.
Yeah. So, if you want to watch an introduction to modern horror, actually, you could. That's not technically possession, because I would say that Blair Witch Project, if you can find that on a platform, that at least that would be an introduction into your found footage horror. But Paranormal Activity is definitely where I would say a good starting off point, because if that one does too much for you, I wouldn't get into the rest of these films.
I would argue that it shouldn't bother you too much, because other demonic possession films dive deep into the theories and the actual possession and the science behind that, or the religion behind that. Paranormal Activity don't have time for that. It's the chair just moved and ain't nobody sitting in it.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm like, if you can't handle that, then the rest of these films don't even bother it.
If y'all don't get over it and watch it, you should be able to handle Paranormal Activity.
Not everybody can handle these films.
Well, I would say where it starts to get worse are things like Insidious, or the Conjuring films do a good job. I would argue that maybe you could go from the Paranormal Activity series to then going into the Conjuring and Annabelle. I would say Annabelle is scarier than the Conjuring, in my opinion, but the Conjuring is more so like the main character is not the possessed person. The main character is the person who is there to help the possessed, and so they're going through the science with you and low-key holding your hand, but there are still jump scares. That's where it's different from the right. There aren't so many jump scares. The right is just more so about that process. And then from there, you can get into your Insidious and your Sinister. The film Sinister is, in fact, Sinister. I think that's a great name. It was named pretty darn well. I think you could watch one today and one tomorrow. There's two of them.
Sinister is definitely Sinister.
But
they were definitely on.
Insidious. Insidious didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I would put Insidious up there. I'm trying to think when was it wasn't that it was that scary, because it's a jump scare movie, but it's very entertaining.
So real quick, remember when those VR goggles became popular like last year or the year before?
Mm-hmm.
They made a trailer for one of the Insidious films that was for those goggles, and you would put the goggles on. It was probably like a minute or 60 seconds, and you didn't necessarily have to walk anywhere. You just had to turn your head. Boy, I was shook. I had to take the goggles off, get a drink of water or something. It almost took me out. So that VR experience was wild. If anybody has those goggles, for the most part, I feel like everybody had them, and then we all at the same time put them down because we realized how dangerous they were. If you still got some, dust that bad boy off, put your phone in there, and put on that little Insidious trailer, and you will not be okay.
Yeah, the VR added a different element to horror, especially in video games. Because was it Resident Evil? I think it's Resident Evil.
It's not. Oh yeah.
That when they added the VR thing, that's what, like, because Resident Evil isn't like, there's moments in it where it's scary, but the VR element, adding it to it, that's different. I would hate to play like Condemned in VR if they did another Condemned game with on current or next gen. That would be wild, and if they put a VR element into it, that would be insane. But that's video games. Off topic, back on topic. Anything else?
Yes, on Netflix, there's a film called Eli that came out last year. It's a horror film. It's rated R. I would say that it's more evil than it is specifically demonic possession. But it is worth the watch, and the ending is wild. Like the film is not at all what you think is going to happen is not at all what happens. I recommend everybody watch that film. Cool. You can watch that too. It's on Netflix, rated R. That's all I'm going to give you. Just know the ending is crazy. It's called Eli.
Eli? Okay.
Yes.
I think I've seen that pop up.
I want to say I watched it the day it came out on Netflix, and like I don't even think Netflix was promoting it like beforehand. Because now Netflix gets you ready for when a film is about to come out. They didn't do that. It just was out, and I was like, "Yo, what did I just watch?" I think I watched it with my mom and the twins, and we were not okay. Like we were like, "Yo, this is nuts." I need to watch it again now. Also, as far as TV shows, there's a show called Evil. I want to say it's on Evil Show. Let's type in Evil Show, see what happens. It's season 1 is on Netflix, but the show itself is on CBS. Season 1 is on Netflix right now. It follows a woman who works for the church. She is a psychiatrist. She does not believe in demonic possession. So she works with the church, and her goal is to help the church recognize whether or not someone is faking it. And it either could be demonic possessions or miracles. But like every episode is on like another case. It's that type of show. But it's really cool. And it stars Luke Cage. What's his name?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw a preview for that. That's recent. Yeah. Because I watched
Netflix.
Yeah, I just watched Blind Manor. I just finished that. And then I think that popped up, and I was gonna watch that next.
That's worth the watch. What was I? Oh, we didn't even mention Hulu just dropped a film that it's a black film. Every black actor, celebrity, whoever is in this film, it's called Bad Hair. It's about a woman with natural hair who gets a weave, and her mind is taken over by that weave. So I am hyped to watch it, and I will have a report. I didn't get to watch it today, but I will definitely have a report for y'all next week on how that was. But I recommend that we all watch it so we can talk about it next week.
Alrighty, I will add that to my list because I have not watched it yet either.
Trying to think of what else there is. Does The Passion of the Christ count as horror? That was scary to me.
No. I do not believe it does.
Oh, another film, Mirrors. This came out, I want to say, when I was in high school. Yes, it's a 2008 film. Just, I haven't seen it in such a long time, but basically, your mirrors ain't safe, y'all. Well, my mirrors are just fine, but in the movie, the mirrors are not safe.
Yeah, yeah, forgot Paranormal Activity's budget was $28 million in 2007.
How much they make?
Way more than that. Let's see.
Also, does the Babadook count as demonic?
193 million.
Nice. They made that back and then some. That's why they kept making them. I would have kept going too.
Yeah. What was that?
Does the Babadook count as demonic possession?
I don't know. I hadn't seen that.
Oh, you got to watch that. That was good. I would argue that the Babadook is similar to the second Conjuring film with the little girl in the UK. They share some elements. So if you liked Conjuring 2, you would also enjoy the Babadook.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, is the Babadook possessed because the Annabelle doll was possessed, or is supposed to be possessed by a spirit?
So if that's the case, then yes, the Babadook does count. I was thinking
so it would count
along the lines of people being possessed, but yeah, there's definitely
because it can it can count as objects, like just because that's that Annabelle, because the Annabelle doll is based on a real like thing. There's a real Annabelle doll that's supposed to be haunted.
The Conjuring films are based on true stories. The Conjuring and the Annabelle stories, and the Curse of La Llorona, which is it's a Mexican film that's a part of the same franchise, but it's a different kind of being than the Conjuring and the Annabelle films.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those count too. That was a really good one. That is also worth the watch. It took me down. It definitely shook me. What is the name of that film? There was a film that Netflix recommended a couple of years ago, and it went viral as the most scary, the most terrifying film ever. Do you remember that? I want to say it was a European film. It was a Spanish film. It took place in Spain. Horror film in Spain. Veronica, y'all. Let me do my Googles real quick. Veronica film.
About 2017.
Yes. All right. This film went
It's
viral.
supernatural horror, so yeah, I would count it. Wait, I think we should have said. I think we should have probably said supernatural.
Oh, instead of
Yeah.
aliens don't count as supernatural?
I guess it could count.
I guess so. Maybe supernatural, but specifically demonic possession films.
No, so according to Google, it is supernatural is ghost, demons, the afterlife, the devil, or demonic possession. So no, it's not aliens. Yeah, we should have said supernatural.
All right, we can write that in the description after.
We can change the title. Oh man.
Veronica was a Spanish film. It dropped on Netflix in 2017. It went viral as the scariest horror film of all time. Now, I'm going to let y'all know that this label was made by whack people who don't get out much, because I was let down. I do think if it did not have that title beforehand, I probably could have enjoyed it more. But I watched the whole movie like this, waiting for stuff to happen, and nothing really happened. So, but let me not say nothing happened. It just wasn't enough for me. But like, I don't know. I could watch a horror film at 6 o'clock in the morning and not jump the whole time. So I'm a little different. But yeah. Trying to think, is there anything else? Any more shows?
That's all I've seen lately.
Haunting on Hill House counts as well. The Haunting of Bly Manor is like Netflix's second estate haunting film. But The Haunting of Hill House came out last year. It's about a family, and they're haunting as children. I think it's like 5 or 6 siblings when they went through as kids, and then it shows them also as adults as well. And it's really, really good. I want to say it's a 6-part miniseries.
Yeah, it's a different type of horror, because it is that series. Both of those deal a lot more with social issues, and just like it's not necessarily about the horror, because it's not the scariest shows that I've seen, but it's very suspenseful, I would say. And then some of the subject matter, I think, is the story itself is, I don't know. To me, the story isn't like 100% horror. It's more because it kind of sort of touches on a lot of kind of sort of real life.
It's scary the same way that The Right was scary.
Yeah, it's not. There are some jump scares. It's not a lot of jump scares, but there are moments that the suspense and like the build up and all of that are definitely very engaging. To me.
That's true. So also The Ring and The Grudge count too, right?
Definitely, yeah, because that would be demonic ghost spirits.
Yeah.
Because The Ring would count too. Oh, did you say The Ring?
I said The Ring. Also, they remade The Grudge. It came out this year. If you have Stars. I believe it's Stars. You can watch it. Now it's a film. It
Oh, it
didn't
did.
hit the same as the previous Grudge. The previous Grudge takes place in Japan. This film takes place in the US. But it was still pretty scary. And there were more people involved as far as who was being possessed.
Yeah, I rewatched The Grudge, and it wasn't like what I remember.
I've noticed that when we're young, movies are crazy. Like I remember when I saw War of the Worlds for the first time, I was not okay. And then when I saw it a few years ago, I was like, this is what scared me. Because of that, last week I mentioned a film called Dreamcatcher. It's not a demonic horror film. It's more alien and like weird kids and stuff. But it scared me to the point where I've only seen it once, and I haven't watched it again. And now I feel like, okay, I'm an adult. I should be okay now. Let me see what's up. And I just haven't gotten the strength to do it. But I will say, if it's really not that scary at all, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you haven't seen the 2020 version
Of what? The
of
Grudge?
The Grudge?
No, I saw it. I saw it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, because I was going to say it's got like a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I can believe it.
Dang. Okay, but what's the audience score, not the critic score? Because Rotten Tomatoes gives you both.
Audience.
Critics hate that the audience loves.
It's what is it? The Google users? Is that the audience score? Because that's
no, on Rotten Tomatoes, there's two.
Oh, I didn't go to Rotten Tomatoes. I just see it when you click on the audience score is 23%. So there.
Well, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes has that at 20% in audience scores. 23% with 3,000 some votes.
Dang. Yeah, all right. I mean, I ain't gonna argue with them.
And it's got a 2 stars on Google. So yeah, not people aren't enjoying this as much as I think.
Oh, another film that counts, even though it counted last week's too. M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, and he's not slick. This movie came out around the time that M. Night Shyamalan kept making a whole bunch of bad movies, so he didn't attach his name to this one. This one just came out, and you didn't know it was his until you Googled who the director was. It's about these children that go visit their grandparents like for a week or something, and they're going through it. That's a good film, and it has a lot of jump scares. We were in here screaming. I watched it with the twins.
I was about to say that. So what's it called?
The Visit.
The Visit. I had to go back just for reference to go see the Grudge Rotten Tomatoes and audience score, and it's a 40 on Rotten Tomatoes and 46 audience score. So that's like, it's really not everything.
You know what I'm wondering? Because it was based on was it Japan? I think it was a Japanese.
It's a Japanese film. The original is a Japanese film. Well, the director is Japanese.
I wonder if there is an actual Japanese film that's not like in English.
There is it's called Ju-on.
Can you spell it for me?
Ju-on.
Let's see.
It also
it's got a 64 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's better.
Yeah, and I remember people saying that at the time when The Grudge came out, that it was based on a Japanese film.
I've noticed that a lot of films that are based on another film, the original is always, especially for horror, the original is always way better. Like Americans, we go more for jump scares, and that makes movies whack.
Yeah, we end up softening the movie a little bit.
Yeah, but the original one has a 66% audience score.
Yeah, that's believable. But even still, like I never base anything that I watch off of the critic scores.
My favorite films are the films that have high audience scores and really low critic scores, because the like cult favorite films, gotta love those.
Yeah, I can see. I don't really check these. I hardly ever check those, so I can't say. But I usually it's basically off of my own interests that I gauge whether or not I'm going to watch something. Like if they market it in a way that appeals to me, then I'll go watch it. I'm not going to check anybody's rating of the film before I go watch it myself. Like I don't even watch really until I've seen it. Like I don't go and see what anyone else says about it.
I will watch a movie even if everyone says it's bad. And then after I watch the movie, if it was bad, I'm like, all right, I mean, I guess y'all told me it was going to be bad. But if it was good, then I'm argue like y'all whack and you didn't like pay attention enough. But I'm going to watch it regardless.
Nah, I think I just personally just don't care what other people's opinions are about it until I've seen it. And then if our opinions, then I'll go and read it or watch whatever the reviews are to see if I agree or not with their critiques.
If anything, sometimes people telling me that a movie was bad makes me want to watch it because I'm just like, how bad are we talking?
Oh yeah, nah, not that invested. Not that
I remember
unless it's a franchise that I like. But then again, it doesn't really matter at that point whether or not people like it. I'm going to go see it because I enjoy it. Like if people, I think, didn't like The Hobbit, but that didn't stop me from going to watch it because I enjoy the Lord of the Rings franchise. Same with, if it's Star Wars, I definitely don't care what anyone's opinion is of it. My opinions form after I've seen it, and part of me doesn't want to be tampered by the expectations or what anyone else's opinion is of something before I go to see it, because that spoils the experience for me. And then I guess another aspect of that, what's another franchise I enjoy? Oh, James Bond. Like I'm going to go see James Bond. Like a Marvel film. If people don't, I think people didn't like Ant-Man when it came out. I saw Ant-Man. I thoroughly enjoyed Ant-Man.
I love Ant-Man.
Yeah, but that's kind of sort of why I don't go and listen to these opinions until I have seen them. For myself, because then I can, based on what I saw, I can critique what this person is saying about the movie. Because I don't have anything to draw on. Like if they're talking about something that happened in the movie, I can't agree or disagree because I hadn't seen it.
Got you.
And then if their interpretation, like people interpret things differently. I've noticed that like certain people will interpret a scene a certain way, and then my interpretation will be different. So that's just personally how I kind of sort of manage expectations for myself before I go see a movie.
Mrs. Cooper, no, Eli, the Netflix film, is in no way related to the Book of Eli, the Denzel Washington film.
Yeah. Book of Eli. It's definitely not horror. Action adventure. Definitely. Yeah. Conjuring 2. What's good, Mr. Loaf? I don't think I said shout out, Mr. Loaf.
Oh, was Mr. Loaf playing Among Us?
Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't. Yeah, we missed you yesterday, Mr. Loaf. We were on Among Us for like hours.
Dang, son.
You missed out. We had a good session. That was great.
My mom, I was teaching her how to play Among Us today.
Where is she gonna hop in?
Well, first it's navigating and just learning how to play the game. That's where we're struggling right now. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna start with her just playing myself and the twins, and then we're gonna go from there. But
gotcha.
Like I told her about it, and I left the room and came back. She was watching gameplay on YouTube. I was like, "Look at you!" So,
man. We had a good session last night.
Yeah. I had to, but it was worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had a good. We'll have more. I'm sure. We might have to schedule something for tomorrow. I don't know.
We gotta have an Aggie Among Us.
Oh, we definitely do, yo. We gotta plan something for G-Ho. Gumbo sponsored something. Either it's a what you call it, like a kickback, virtual kickback.
Something. I'm gonna give you the reins for that, and let me know what to do, how to promote it, and I'm gonna do that for you. But you gonna take the reins on that because you
All right. The man with what?
The man with the Zoom.
Oh yeah, true. So yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I can put the word out.
I'm gonna get dressed like I'm going out.
It's gonna get wild. Because the last one I did, it was very lit. Very lit.
Mrs. Cooper, we did not discuss Hellstrom. I don't know much about it. It looks like the show just started. The first episode came out on the 16th. I have no idea what it is, but I will check it out.
Hellstrom.
Hellstrom. It looks like it's a comic show that's on Hulu. First episode came out on 10/16.
Who's in it?
Is
this Marvel?
It's Marvel, but I don't know.
Oh, it's on Hulu.
Marvel
I haven't seen it.
One Hulu show. They also have Legion as well, who is Professor Xavier's son. And I know the show. I don't think it got canceled. I think it's doing well, but I don't know much about it. It doesn't looks like they're evil, like they're bad guys. And I guess Ghost Rider is a part of like Hellstrom.
Yeah, I think so. There's some connections to that. Where no, okay, so it's on. The question is it a part of the MCU? It's the real question.
Probably not, because Legion is not.
Yeah, but that would be the only thing.
If they don't end up linking. But I also know time is the thing. Legion, I want to say, started out taking place in the 80s. I don't know when Hellstrom takes place.
That's all dependent on when and where they put the X-Men franchise, what time period they place it. Are they going to place it in their original time period? Or are they going to try to modernize the X-Men? I don't know how they're going to handle that. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce in December, on the December 10th event for the shareholders call for Disney, if they announce Fantastic Four and X-Men. If there are any big announcements that Marvel's going to make in the future, it's definitely going to be those two properties, because like it's Fantastic Four and X-Men. Like people love those, especially X-Men. All I know is if they do X-Men again, I want the live action Disney Plus TV show of the X-Men that's connected to the MCU instead of movies. Like, give us that way you can put more characters in it and you have more character development.
Heck yeah.
In a TV show. Because I love the X-Men characters. Like X-Men is my favorite Marvel property as a whole.
I think so. I think that was also the franchise I love the most. Yeah. What came out first, X-Men or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Technically Blade, but Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man was like my first introduction, but I think I can agree X-Men had my heart. X2 really did for me.
Yeah, because I think I want to say that I think Spider-Man came out in 99. I think it did. It came out the same year as Phantom Menace. I remember that. That was a great summer.
It came out in 99.
It had to have.
No. I was in Jersey. That came out after 9/11.
Maybe it did. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, yeah, you're right. It's 2002.
Yeah. What to say? You?
Or maybe it was X-Men that came out in 99.
Okay, yeah. So then X2 came out after Spider-Man then, because
X-Men was 2000. Yeah, it had to be summer 2000.
And then X2 came out in 2003. So yeah, X2.
That's when they had Nightcrawler.
That's when they had Nightcrawler. That's when, Nightcrawler. Oh, I love him. I like that Nightcrawler better than the new young Nightcrawler. Not that there's anything wrong with him, but I like the history behind the other Nightcrawler. The only thing that I don't understand is why they're not acknowledging the parentage. Like, at least they did it a little bit in X-Men. What was that?
Do you want to know why? Because I can give you the answer.
Because Mystique is unfit?
Nope, because Kevin Feige and the X-Men, the original X-Men. Like he was a producer for the first Spider-Man movie and for X-Men, I believe one, 2, and 3 maybe.
Does he have mommy issues? Like that's not helping me. Why isn't he making those connections?
He's not involved in. He wasn't involved in the new, and he was a producer. Like, are you saying that you like the younger Nightcrawler?
No. I like the original one from X2 more.
Yeah, that's the one that he was that's the one he produced.
I dislike there should be drama between Mystique and Nightcrawler, and there isn't any. There is a little bit in X-Men Apocalypse because they acknowledge where Nightcrawler came from, but they don't actually say like he still doesn't know who his mom is. He's not mad. And then in the first X2, well, I have to watch it again and watch their dynamic again because I know they have scenes talking to each other, but they don't acknowledge anything. Like, and the fact that they're both blue, so y'all just gonna be blue and look alike and nobody's gonna say anything?
I don't. But that's the one. That's the version they got. Jennifer, what's her name?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Lawrence.
They addressed it in this one. At least in the newer films, you get to see his father, so you know who his dad is.
But those movies are they connected?
You never get to see because his father is Azazel from the Future Past. Although you never get to see Azazel and her together. I mean, it's clear by looking at Azazel that he is Nightcrawler's father.
Right. Also, they share some of the same powers.
Yeah.
They teleportation.
Rottweiler and naming it Azazel. That's happening.
Yeah. No. They. A lot of the character decisions and choices that like Wolverine's hair, for instance, some of the outfits and like just the overall portrayal of the characters, Feige had a lot of influence in especially in Spider-Man and the original X-Men and I think X2, which is why
they didn't have the costumes all like blue and yellow. I appreciated that they were a little different. Like the time they wouldn't have used that.
Yeah. But he's had a lot of influence over the earlier properties, and then when Marvel was acquired by Disney, he even took more of a larger role in the company. Now he's creative director and is running the show, and he's been doing a great job because the Iron Man. When did Iron Man 1 come out? 2007?
Yes.
Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure he was creative director at that point for Marvel. But he's also a huge fan of Marvel. Like he's like he reads a lot of the comic books and he's up on the lore. So and it comes across because he does a good job to me of balancing the entertainment and staying true to the comics and the character. Like it's an interesting mix and balance that he tries to strike of one, making it appeal to the mainstream audience, walking the tightrope of not being too inside baseball, and then maintaining a lot of the core values of the characters that everyone, the comic books and the comic book fans and the original and the mainstream audiences enjoy. I think overall he's done a really good job. Hopefully, we can find someone like that on the Star Wars side, and I'll be good. But anyway, got anything else? Any other shows you want to add?
I think I'm good. I was reminding of a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't get to watch, so I need to watch that. Definitely want to check out Hellstrom, and we can talk about it next week. I have to watch Bad Hair and talk about that next week. And then next week's final Halloween, or maybe not follow, we can talk about horror all day, but our last Halloween themed episode will be on serial killer horror films. So we're going to talk about everybody from Hannibal Lecter to Michael Myers.
Gotcha. Cool. Sounds good.
Maybe we can slip aliens in there too.
We already talked about aliens.
No, we didn't. I mean, we always talk about aliens, but we didn't have a alien specific horror combo.
Okay.
We didn't, I promise. It's just we talk about them so much. But that's why I said if we have time, we can slip it in there. But we never had like a dedicated.
I was about to say, I don't know how many of those there are. That would be interesting to look into. If you can find out how many of those are in that genre that are horror films, let me know, and then we'll make a decision.
Well, that's why I said we can.
I know it's the Alien franchise.
Well, wouldn't that doesn't count as horror? That's scary.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying you got that franchise, and then what else do we have? That's horror. The fourth kind.
The fourth kind is high. First of all, we can talk about the fourth kind for an hour.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you got that, and then you got Alien, and then what else within that horror genre? Predator's not really horror. That's just action. There's a lot of Alien movies, but it's not really horror. That might be something you want to just save for later. That's not in the horror, because you can do Alien movies and TV shows.
All right. So then
because there's a lot of them, but it's just not a lot within that horror genre.
Aliens out for once.
Yeah, it's overall Alien stuff.
All right. So then next week we're talking serial killers. Are there any? Oh, we never talked about vampires. There's not as many, but we gotta talk about vampire horror too. So we can slip in vampire horror and serial killer.
Okay.
There's I would argue that there's probably more vampire horror than specifically alien horror.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I think
they categorize it. It's a monster movie.
So then, I mean, we haven't talked monster, but I would argue that monster horror hasn't been a thing right now. It was more of a thing with like classic horror films, but we've moved away from that.
Yeah,
but
we have to take a trip to the past.
Monster is.
I think Cloverfield is like the most recent monster horror, really, that we've gotten.
Let's do a quick Google and see, and that'll determine what we're going to talk about. Monster horror films.
Yeah, while we're doing this, if you're watching, leave some comments for suggestions while we're still live. Monster horror. I mean, because
it counts as monster horror. Tremors.
Tremors is not horror, bro.
Creepers. Well, I mean, Bird Box.
Trash.
I mean, I'm just saying it counts.
It's trash. That movie was terrible. God, that movie was terrible.
Remember the first time you watched The Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, that's monster horror.
I mean, you saw the movie, right? I would argue that it's monster horror. We can get into that next week of why.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, never mind. I'm mixing up movies.
Serial killers, and then we can have a monster horror conversation / argument.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so yeah, serial killers, and then we'll freestyle horror.
No, we
can freestyle.
I don't know. I'm always down to argue. We'll figure
That's
something
what I'm saying. Yeah, we just open it up because there's a lot of in the horror genre we hadn't gotten to, so we may as well do serial killer as the main topic, and then secondary is just freestyle, like whatever horror movies you come to mind, talk about it.
Yeah. All right, let's do that.
All right, sounds good, man.
Gumbo got going this week.
Yeah, so we don't really have much going on this week. Aftercraft is done. I mean, Aftercraft, but Lovecraft Country is done. So we got Starlight Beacon on Wednesday. We'll be doing episodes 7 and 8 of Mandalorian. My favorite. The great way to close out the series because those are two of the best episodes in the show. So me and JBM will be covering that at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. We've been doing a recap series for The Mandalorian Season 1, gearing up for Season 2, which will air next Friday, October 30th. Then we may or may not have a episode on Friday to recap the show, episode 1 of Season 2. So yeah. And definitely, stop by if you've watched The Mandalorian season 1. Come join us on Wednesday because we'll talk about the 7 and 8 episodes, our favorite moments, give a breakdown, dive into the lore a little bit, and then we'll start to speculate on season 2. Don't know if we'll get any more trailers. Doubt it. I think we're done with the marketing aspect of things. I think from here on until Friday, we'll probably get a few more TV spots of probably the same scenes, just different shots, same locations and whatnot. Nothing new, nothing special. But yeah, that's the big thing between now and then. And then next Saturday, of course, join us as always. We'll have a special horror Jiho celebration episode of Cookout.
And it's not going to be Jiho related.
That's fine. I'll see what I do. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, thank you for joining us this week. Appreciate you as always for coming out. And as always, peace, love, and blessings. And we will see you on the next episode.